Oh, hello there. Oh, it's a terrible storm out. Please come inside and make yourself comfortable by the fire, and I'll get you something nice and warm to drink. Here you go. You look a little tired. Perhaps you'd like to stay the night? I have plenty of space. Here, let me get you a blanket. There you go. How about a nice story? Would you like that? Wonderful. Here's a nice story. Flute's Journey by Trisha Coughlin. Moonlight fell across the stable floor as the doors opened. The humans tried to be quiet while they brought in a new addition. The horses and ponies in the stable could hear the striking hoofs and feet shuffling on the concrete aisleway. Although the humans only heard snorting and whinnying sounds, the horses and ponies started talking among themselves about the commotion that woke them. "What are those humans up to now?" Sundancer whinnied as she flipped her tail and circled inside her stall. The thoroughbred racing filly was really unhappy. "It's the middle of the night." "What is that odor?" The palomito in the stall next to her held her chin up with nostrils flaring, trying to detect what she was smelling. The humans were having problems getting the newcomer down the aisleway, which had a row of stalls on each side. When they finally reached the empty stall next to the oldest lead pony, they opened the gate and tried to force the newcomer inside. "I can't see anything!" one of the lead ponies at the far end protested. Only one other time have I smelled something so odd. It's familiar, yet different." Gypsy was amazed. It was during a time before most of you arrived here. Gypsy was finally able to see enough of the newcomer. For a moment, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. The humans have caught a hippogriff! The full moon probably gave it away. It's hard to hide with so much light at night. I don't think she's even full grown yet. She watched the humans as they continued the struggle to get their charge into the empty stall next to her. The horses and ponies were surprised by the news. None of them had seen a hippogriff. Whinnying and snorting from the horses were still loud as they continued to talk amongst themselves. Some of the horses stomped their hooves because they wanted more answers from Gypsy. But none came as she stood watching silently. "All of you need to quiet down. You're scaring her." Gypsy snorted finally and kicked the sideboards of her stall. In a softer tone, she informed them, "A hippogriff is an offspring from a male griffin and a filly." The occupants of the stable settled into relative silence as Gypsy watched the activity continue in front of her. The humans finally managed to get the hippogriff into the stall. They quickly locked the gate to prevent escape. Once satisfied it was secure, they left the stable, closing the double doors behind them. Gypsy looked through the board slats into the stall next to her and couldn't help but cry. The humans had left the hippogriff restrained. They used a strap around her middle to trap her wings. Leather covers and ties encased both the front claws. Worse yet, they had fashioned a muzzle over the mouth and strapped it tightly to prevent her from biting them. In the kindest voice she possessed, Gypsy spoke to the hippogriff. "Come here, little one, and I'll help you. Don't be afraid." "It's okay," Gypsy coaxed, trying to encourage the young one to respond. "I can help you get that contraption off of your head if you let me." The young hippogriff walked closer and turned her head hesitantly so the old lead pony could get to the harness through the board slats. Gypsy tugged at the strapping, loosening it. Within a minute, it fell to the straw-covered floor of the stall. "Oh, thank you. It feels so much better without having that on my face," the little one meekly replied. "What's your name, dear?" Gypsy stood still while she talked. She knew calmness would help, just as it did on race days when she would lead out a racehorse to the starting gate. "I'm Flute Dancer Grayspike." The hippogriff tried to shift her wings trapped under the strap, but to no avail. The old white pony's eyes widened as she recognized part of the name. "Turn, and I'll help take the strap off your wings." Flute was grateful and shifted to receive assistance. Gypsy tugged at the strap several times, trying to dismantle the buckle and strap. "You are Starbright Dancer's daughter, aren't you?" Gypsy asked as she reached for another hold on the strap. She gave it a final tug and the strap fell away. "Yes, I am. How did you know?" Flute slowly spread her wings and flapped them a couple of times slowly to make the stiffness go away before she brought them back to her side. "That strap hurt even worse than the one on my face. I feel so much better now. Thank you." Flute lay down on the stall floor to take the bindings off her front feet. Shuffling and neighing came from the opposite end of the stable's main doors. Upon hearing the news of who the hippogriff's mother was, Handsome Dan pushed against the gate of the stall. He spoke to everyone in the stable in a loud, booming whinny. "We can't let her stay here!" Handsome Dan was the oldest of the race horses. Other than Gypsy, the black stallion was the only one who had known Flute's mother. Gypsy heard the commotion Handsome Dan was making as she replied to Flute's question. "I guess from your name, your mother was a pride and joy of the stable's owner. Starbright was a beautiful filly and fast as Quicksilver. I suppose that's why your father was so interested in her. But she was brought here as a mate for Handsome Dan." With a final shove, Handsome Dan opened the gate to his stall. He bolted down the aisleway, snorting and whinnying. "Your father showed up on a moonless night. There was no stopping him from getting in here, even though I tried. He chose Starbright for his mate. I never saw her again." The rest of the horses and ponies in the stable became nervous and restless because of how upset Handsome Dan had gotten, but none had said a word. He finished by flipping his long mane from side to side and stomping his hooves on the floor as he reached the stall Flute occupied. "You just settle down, Handsome Dan," Gypsy snorted in a panic, thinking he might cause harm to Flute. Flute had finished taking off her bindings as Handsome Dan snorted at Gypsy's comment. She wondered if Gypsy was right and moved to a corner at the back of the stall for safety. "I'm not going to hurt you. I need to get this gate open so you can get away. There is no telling what the humans will do to you." With a quick movement, Handsome Dan had the gate open. He saw the wide-eyed look on her face and realized he had scared her, and how much her eyes looked like her mother's. His tone softened. "Why did you come here on a full moonlit night? Didn't you realize how easy it would be for the humans to see you?" She stepped forward, seeking his help cautiously. "My mother is quite ill. She might die if she doesn't get the human medicine to help her. My father couldn't leave her, so I was sent to get it. I was told to find penicillin." "It's penicillin," Gypsy clarified. "What good would that do you? You can't possibly give your mother a shot, even though you have claws in the front instead of hooves." Handsome Dan snorted irritatingly. Flute cautiously backed up another step. "We live near the woodland sprites far north. There's an old elf there too. He's willing to help my mother if I can get what she needs." She dropped her head slightly and took a step forward. "Would you be willing to help me too? Please?" Tears had welled up in Flute's eyes. She didn't know whether it was from being scared of the old stallion or fear her mother might die before she returned. Trying her best to be brave, she raised her clawed foot and wiped her eyes with the furry underside of her leg. Gypsy looked at Handsome Dan and whinnied. "If you could get my gate open, we can all go to the tack room. What she needs is in the human's refrigerator. I can show you what it looks like." Handsome Dan opened Flute and Gypsy's gates. All three went into the tack room, where he kicked at the refrigerator until it opened. Some of the vials fell out onto the ground. Gypsy separated one with her hoof. "This is it. Now all you need is a syringe. Handsome Dan, open the drawer next to the refrigerator, please." His lips twisted and turned so he could finally get a hold of the handle with his teeth. He pulled hard. It caused the drawer to come out completely, spilling its contents on the ground. Gypsy scooted a syringe away from the other contents with her hoof. Then she indicated which one to take home. "Are you sure the elf will be able to handle this?" Gypsy asked, picking up the vial and syringe at one clawed Flute. Flute replied, "Oh yes, he used to be a house elf for a doctor's family and their young son set him free. He knows all about this kind of thing. He's been taking care of my mother since she was hurt. But she has an infection only this medicine would cure. He told me what to ask for when I got here." "We'll help you get this to the door." Handsome Dan looked from the medicine to her with concern. "But you need to hold them carefully and fly as soon as I get the doors open. If you don't get away fast, the humans will catch you again." The stallion stomped his foot to make sure Flute understood the importance of being quick. Flute nodded in acknowledgement as she looked him directly in the eyes. As Handsome got the stable doors open, he heard voices coming from the house. Lights came on and people started running towards the stable. Within moments of the doors opening, Flute was seen racing like the wind through the doors. She held the medicine and syringe in her front claws and flapped her wings quickly to gain height from the ground. "Thank you so much for your help. I couldn't have done this without either of you," she called back to them. "I'll never forget you." Then she disappeared up into the clouds. Gypsy stood next to Handsome Dan. "I know you better than the rest do. You also are not as tough as everyone thinks. You still miss Starbright." Handsome Dan snorted and potted the straw on the floor. "You seemed impressed by her courage." Gypsy looked towards the house and the humans. Handsome Dan snorted again. "Think what you will, old girl. I think we should be heading back to our stall before those humans get here." As he shook his head in mane, he swung around on his back hooves to return to his stall. Gypsy noticed his canter was lighter than it had been in a long time. Wasn't that a cute story? I thought so too. Here, let me take your cup from you. Sleep well.